A gute Woche. When Shmuel called me, where is he? Oh. When he called me, Rabbi Rub knows my Yedid. That's very hard for me to know weeks in advance, right? What's going to be. So Rabbi Gluck called me like 2 months ago. So it was hard for me to say, but I told him right away that as long as I'm here, the answer is yes. That I would. It's a tremendous chus to be here. And I'll tell you why, to me, the answer was yes, without even being able to. I didn't know what he wants from me. I don't know if he wants me to come and juggle. I'll juggle. Whatever you, I'm not the best juggler. But I don't know what Shmuel wants. Whatever he wants, I'm here. And the reason is one reason. Chavetz Chaim says a beautiful verse. Chavetz Chaim says that we find that when Aaron HaKohen died, the Eibishter told Moshe Rabbeinu, B'vakosha mimcha, the Psikta brings down. I'm asking you, Moshe, I don't want to tell Aaron the news. I don't want to tell Aaron that his time has come. I'm asking you, you tell him. That's what Azay steht in Chazal. So the Chavetz Chaim asks. We don't find this by any of the other tzaddikim. By Moshe himself, the Eibishter told him. Alei har avorim u'musham. Hashem told him. Only by Aaron. Chavetz Chaim says a gewaltige Wort. And I can tell you, being in my shul for the last 30 years, I see this pechush. Sometimes you have a guy always looking at other people's children. Your kid just broke this. Your kid, you have those people who always come to you to tell you what your kid just did. Those kind of people, the second you see their kid do something, your mom is run over to chap. Your kid. It's partially therapeutic. Therapeutic. But if you have somebody that's always complimenting your child, always telling you only toiv, Pasha, you don't have the heart. Even if you see their child go and do something outrageous, you say, Eini yochel, I can't. The person always comes and tells me positive things about my child. How can I? Zok to Chavetz Chaim. Aaron HaKohen's mission in life was to always say toiv on Klal Yisrael. That was him. Das given Aaron HaKohen. V'avlo l'nimtza b'svosov. Moshe had to be the Rav HaRoider sometimes. The Rav HaRoider. Maber meyisim im Hashem. Moshe had to sometimes take a different line. Aaron wasn't like that. The Eibishter told Moshe Rabbeinu, der Yid Aaron, he only tells me positive things about Banai. I can't tell him something negative. V'akosha mimcha. That's the schus the Chavetz Chaim says of somebody who's careful of how he talks. So I could tell you, I know Rav Shmuel many years. He's a mechutin with me, meaning he took one of my talmidim as an eidim. Then he sent one of his kids by me as a talmid in the yeshiva. Well, 1.5, right? So, 2.5, okay, good. So, but I can tell you that over the years, I've never called Rav Shmuel about any problem with any child that the answer is not yes. Before he knows he doesn't know what I'm asking him to do. The answer is yes. The answer is I'm going to go tomorrow morning, I'm going to pick him up for breakfast, take this boy out. He doesn't know what, that's the answer. And he's told me that many times. Let me first take him out for breakfast and see how the conversation goes. So a Yid that doesn't know how to say no, how do you say no to him? He doesn't know how to say no to any neshama. How do you say no to him? So that's my answer, Shmuel, anything you need. That's my answer. I don't know what you want from me, but the answer is anything. If Shmuel told me that I should speak for under 20 minutes, 19.9 I think was the number. That's a very long time. People are coming together. So we came to a pshara that it could be shorter. He just meant not longer. That made me feel much better. I'm giving now Shin Yerushalmi and Demai. So over there it says that when they collected Demai, according to the Chachamim, they didn't put the Demai of the Amaratzim in a separate package. Goyvim stam umchalkim stam, which means, according to Beis Shammai holds, there's a separate pushkin. There's Badatz Mahadrin, Rabbanut. There's separate boxes. And you give the Demai to people that eat Demai. The Chachamim say Goyvim stam umchalkim stam, which means you collect stock here. When you collect the produce to give out for the kupa, you're not selective. And you give it out stam. So the Yerushalmi explains why. The Yerushalmi says, because people are giving tzedakah, you don't want to discourage them. If somebody knows that what he's giving to the Gabbai is going to go in a separate package, he doesn't like it. He takes that personal. So, kedei not to stop people from giving tzedakah, but even stamu mechalkins. So to speak by a gathering of tzedakah for 20 minutes, that's like penalizing nois tzedakah. And that I won't be part of, even for Rabbi Shmuel. But I think I already, how long am I on already? I want to just say a couple of words about what Areivim does. And basically what arvus we have for Areivim. What's our arvus for Areivim? In this week's Parsha, when Yaakov Avinu leaves, he makes a stopover in Shem Ve'ever. Sha'al Ta'yid Yaakov Avinu. He stops in Shem Ve'ever for 14 years. He needs a shidduch. His father sent him to get a shidduch. He stops 14 years in Shem Ve'ever. Pella. Everybody has the kasha. Many different pirushim. Why did he stop in Shem Ve'ever? Next kasha. He gets to Choron. The first thing he meets up in Choron is the Roye Tzoyin, Roye Bokar. We know from the Gemara that even Yidden that were Royim, even Yidden that were shepherds, you don't play games with them. They're Poseladis. These are not the elite. The Roye Bokar. The Roye Bokar and Choron, you don't want to be on a dark street with them. Yaakov Avinu, an alter Yid, comes to Choron. He meets these groups of Roye Bokar. They're taking a long lunch break. First of all, it's a chiddush, even ask them for directions. You know, sometimes you're in the city, you don't know where you are. Now everybody has a navigation. It used to be, you ask for directions. A lot of times you're in the street in Manhattan. It's happened to me. You're mesupik if it's kedai to open the window. If you want to talk to this person, is it safer to just drive around, try to figure it out? The Eibusha should lead you? Or to start talking to this person? Imagine opening your window and you see a blue Java with tattoos and you start giving him Musa. You ask him for direction and you say, maybe you should put your life together. Shmuel Taka would probably do that. Maybe put your life together. Why are you on drugs? Meshuggah? Yaakov Avinu starts giving Musa. Why? Why does Yaakov Avinu give Musa now? The bigger chiddush is they accepted the Musa. They listened to him. That's a bigger chiddush. Panavizh Rav goes into that. Why they accepted it. But he starts giving Musa. How do we understand that? One other question I want to ask you. This question is asked by Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld. Leia makes the most unbelievable sacrifice in this week's parasha. You see from the whole Leidas Hashvatim that every son that's born to Leia, she looks at that as her mamish, her ticket to give her more ava in her marriage. A lot of the names represent and reflect that. She became pregnant and she realized that if this is going to be a zocho, it's going to take away from her sister. Her sister's going to have even less than the shvachas. She davened that there should be a change. The child shouldn't be born. A zocho should be in a cave. Normally you don't daven for such a thing. The Gemara says in brachas. You don't daven for a change of gender. Lachar aborim yoim. The Gemara even brings this as a question. And a nace happened, and according to the Medrash, there's different explanations. Actually, the Vladai switched, which has halachic ramifications. Some of the poskim have a shaila. If you have a surrogate mother, if one mother is holding a baby for somebody else, who's called the mother al pi din? And they bring this as a raya that the surrogate mother is the aim. It's a big shaila in the poskim, this. Unbelievable vatronis. What does she call the name? She calls her child Dina. Ask Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld. Why is she called Dina? Dina was the din that Leia made, meaning Leia started being down. She started making a cheshbon. What's going to be with my sister? That was the din. But then she made the ultimate sacrifice and davened to the Rabbi Shalom and was mevater. So call the child Chasida. Call the child Vitra. Why are you calling the child Dina? Doesn't make sense. That's a basic. Dina was the cheshbonos she was making before she wrote the check, before she did the sacrifice. Why is that the name? He says an unbelievable vote. I want to go back to what Yaakov Avinu's cheshbon was. The Torah says that when Yaakov left, it says Vayetze Vayelech. So Rashi brings down Tzadik's Be'ir, Zui Ziva. That's the beauty of the city, Zui Hadora, the shine, the glory, the beauty. So everybody asks, Yankov's not the first tzaddik to leave a city. What's pshat? There's a lot of pirushim. I once wanted to say an idea like this. Simply you learn Rashi is telling us, the Chazal are telling us, that this is praising the tzaddik. It's a shtickle hesped on a tzaddik. A tzaddik leaves a city, the beauty goes away from the city. The city loses something. A tzaddik goes to a new city, that city gains. I want to tell you another idea. This is not a hesped on the tzaddik. This is a schayvus on the tzaddik. Kishayeshiv tzaddik ba'ir, when a tzaddik is in the city, he has no right to sit in his room. He has to be huziva hu adara. He has to impact the city. He can't just be there. This is not a hesped. This is his chayvus. And when the tzaddik leaves, then he must go to the new city that he goes to. He has to go and bring that ziv to that city. Now I'll tell you what Rabbi Yaakov Zatzal said. That connects to this idea. Rabbi Yaakov said, Shem ve'ever, the expertise of the yeshiva Shem ve'ever. He was already a big Talmid Chacham, Yaakov Avinu. He learned by Avraham, he learned by Yitzchak. What was he getting from Shem ve'ever? Shem ve'ever's expertise was Teres HaGolos. How do you bring the Torah out to the world? Yeshiva Shem ve'ever. So Rabbi Yaakov says that's the reason why he stopped in Shem ve'ever. Yaakov Avinu stopped in Shem ve'ever in order to learn how to bring to the world, the ziv and the hodor. He's going now into Golos. How's he going to impact? What was the biggest sakon of the place he was going to? Gezel. He's going to Lavan Arami. Lavan Arami, Rabbi Yaakov used to say, we don't even call him Arzeda. We call Terach Arzeda. Lavan is not even Zoicha that we call him a Zeda. Right? Lavan's absent, even though he was the father of the Imayas. Why isn't Lavan also Azeda? Terach is Azeda. Lavan is not even the Zeda that we say, if they have a Zora. Rabbi Yaakov said he was a Shakran, and a Ramai has no place in Klal Yisrael. Not even a Zeda. Terach, he was misguided. Terach was misguided. But a person like Lavan, a Ramai, a Shakran. So I wanted to say, and I always tell the Talmidim in the yeshiva, I give them a dugma. I say, imagine you had a choice to learn about the Holocaust, either from a professor, historian, he studied for years the Holocaust, he knows all the intricacies and everything about it, or an Alta Yid that was in the Holocaust, that has the numbers on his arm, that speaks a broken English. Who would you want to hear more? Who's going to make more of an impact on you? Versteht sich, the Yid. The professor can darshan. The Yid is Ani Agever. I lived through it. You look at him. He doesn't even have to talk. You look at him. So I said, before Yaakov Avinu went to Lavan, and he knew his job is to bring his emes to that sheker world that he's going to, he stopped in Shem ve'ever. Shem ve'ever was built by Yeshiva Shem was built by Shem, the son of Noach. That was a Holocaust. The whole world got destroyed for what? For Gezel. So that's the yeshiva I want to learn in. I want to go to a yeshiva where the Rosh Yeshiva, he saw the whole world drown because of Gezel. That's going to go into my bones. And I'll be able to give that over. And the first Royei Bakar that he saw that were being dishonest, he knew that's his job. Achai, like the Panav Zharav says, he called them his brothers. He knew how to do it. And he was able to impact them. But Yaakov Avinu understood that this is his mission. This is his job. We can't think for ourselves. Zokt Reb Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld. Any woman that has 6 children, 6 boys, she's about to have a 7th one, and you would start talking to her and giving her therapy, saying, listen, you have a sister, let her have one boy, you'll have a girl. She'll be adorable, pink, she'll be masculine. So Dr. Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, the kunst is not to be masculine, the kunst is to be thinking about it. The kunst is that you're thinking about the other person. V'atikro shmoy dina. So Dr. Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, it's to think for the other person. Once you're thinking, you're going to make the right decision. Once you're a dina, once you're thinking about the other person, then you'll already make the right decision. Leia wasn't living for herself. She was thinking. She was thinking, what could I do for her? Mani'imim advarim. You know, Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, one year, he lost his Baal Tfilah, Baal Rosh Hashanah, Baal Musaf, died, mamish a week and a half before the Yom Neroy. And everybody was worried, what's going to be with the Baal Tfilah, who? They were asking him, and he kept on telling his tzibur, don't worry, it's a sign of Baal Tfilah. Anyway, they're getting nervous. It's a couple days before Rosh Hashanah. Nothing. Mamish Erev Rosh Hashanah. The Gabbai comes, he says, Rabbeinu, I have to know who to put up to the Amud. After Kriyas HaTorah, nobody knew yet. After Kriyas HaTorah, he put up the Baal Tfilah's son. Should be the Baal Musaf. Anyway, needless to say, after davening, there was a huge tumult. Because we know that an oval, Teichir Beis Chodesh, is not supposed to daven in Rosh Hashanah. Because there's a din on him. Rosh Hashanah, you want rachamim. Even Yud Beis Chodesh, forget Shloshim. So there was a whole tumult. They came to Rabbi Yosef Chaim to understand. Yosef Chaim said, that's why I didn't tell you who I was putting up. I didn't tell you I was putting up because, well, what do I need a tumult here? I knew it'd be a tumult. He says, you want to know why I put him up? There's an almona and there's a snoshim. The wife of our old Baal Tfilah. Every time this chazan is going to say a nigun on a sana toikef, she's going to be thinking for her husband. At least she should have her son there. The son's davening, it'll be a consolation for the almana. They said, here, Rabbeinu, we're here. But what's with the dinim? He says, Dosa deicha zayin ala dinim. This will push away all the dinim. The rachmim to think. So it's ni'imim advarim, he thought for somebody else. Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld was thinking for the other person. That's the aside, to think for the other person. And that's very hard. We're living in a world, Rabbi said today, where even if you're thinking for somebody else, you don't know how to think. The tsaras now that are in Klal Yisrael, ain't bias, asher ain't shameis. It's now not something that doesn't happen to me, where Friday night somebody knocks on my door 12:31 in the morning, that the kid's missing. Last year I had somebody knock on my door, not even from my shul. Somebody up there. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. The kid was arrested in Flatbush. Kid was in Shabbos, went away from home, and went downtown in Flatbush, went to buy drugs. A tippish, a kid was 15. This you probably never heard such a ma'aseh. Oh, you know the ma'aseh? He knows the kid. 15-year-old kid went to buy, with a chavrus of his, went to buy drugs. They gave the one that was selling the drugs, they gave him the money, and the druggie didn't give them the drugs. So they called the cops on the druggie. Could you imagine the dipshits from that? So the cops came down and arrested them. But Nebuch, the parents are here in Muncie, and the kid, and the police department is trying to reach the parents. They're not picking up the phone for states. So they called the Ramapo police, them. They were by my house 1 o'clock in the morning. These are not things. 25 years ago, I wasn't dealing with this. Achman al-Islam. We don't even know what to think. And here we have an organization that's doing the dina for us. We have an organization that's making the cheshbonis for us. We have an organization that's thinking about these neshamas. I don't think I ever dealt with yet a kid that's looking for a yeshiva that's lost. That when I say Rabbi Glock, it's really a waste of time, because they always say, yeah, I spoke to Rabbi Glock. Either he said to come here, he said there, whatever it is. I already spoke to Rabbi Glock. Well, I know about Rabbi Glock. Everybody does that over passion. So Rabbi said, we have a chiyuv. All of these kinder are our chiyuvim. You know the Chazon Ish, famous Maisi, he was on his way to a Tanoim. They already came to pick him up. Rabbi Yeshua Rimmer, who was a Makurv by the Chazon Ish, came to pick him up to go to a Tanoim. And he's waiting, everybody by the hall is waiting by the Tanoim for the Chazon Ish. And he comes to pick up the Chazon Ish. The Chazon Ish is sitting by a table with a couple, an older couple. And this is what they see. The Chazon Ish is there looking at buttons. Bunch of buttons around the table. He's looking at buttons. He goes, yeah, this one, take this one. Sugar. Then they take out threads, different threads. And he's picking out, and they have their bags, and he's put this, they're putting here, and this, he says, this is not kedai to take, it's not take. This is going on. Rabbi Shua Rimmer is pacing, Chos and Kala, the whole oilam is waiting, and the Chazon Ish is busy with this couple selecting buttons and thread. Anyway, after they left, and the Chazon Ish gets in the car with Rabbi Shua Rimmer, he tells him, you're probably wondering what was going on. He says, this is an older couple. They survived from the Holocaust. The whole mishpacha was killed out. They came to Eretz Yisrael with nothing. They borrowed some money. I had advised them that since the lady was a seamstress in Europe, they understand they should sell material and threads and buttons. And so they went, and they had a choice of different things to buy. They came to me I should pick out for them what to buy. He says, the fact that they came to me means they have nobody else to go to. That's my nechiv. And then he told Rabbi Yeshua, that don't think I don't know that there's a whole tzibur waiting. I understand it's a big thing. He says, but the ganze tzibur is oichet mechuyev for this couple. That whole tzibur that's waiting for me, they're also mechuyev that I should be busy with them fixing the buns. Rabbi say, we're all mechuyev for the cheshbonis that Rav Shmuel is making. We're all mechuyev. We're all Areivim. We should be doing it. We don't know how to do it. We don't do it. We should be doing it. But there's somebody who's doing it for us. Today you need a tata mama for Klal Yisrael to pasha deal with all the tipulim that's going on today. Mibayis and michutz. And then you have an organization from placement to dealing with kids in crisis. There's nothing you can't call this organization for. There's no tzara that you could have with a child that you can't call this organization for. Do you know what it is to be a parent of such a child? It's 24-hour tzar. It's 24-hour tzar. There's no bigger tzar. And here's an organization that's doing it for us. So we, as the Chazon Ish said, we, as a tzibur, are mechuyev, that this organization should exist and should thrive and should be b'shefa b'revach. So I'm asking all of you, tiftechu es levavchem for this chiyuv which you all have, and we should b'simcha help Reb Shmuel for doing the chiyuv that each one of us have, and we should be zoyche taka, the schus, from the ishtatfus and from the hargosha that we all feel. We should be zoyche, that taka we shouldn't need it. We should be zoyche taka that the mitzvah Shem, everybody should be nisrape, and there shouldn't be sheit v'shever, and any bota Yisrael should be molei simcha v'nachas and menucha ad bias geltza.